Are you looking for a versatile programming language that can help you achieve your career goals? Look no further than Python. As a programming language that can help you land a high-paying job, Python serves as a great option. The Knowledge Academy provides you with the best opportunity to learn and implement Python through these free tutorials. So happy coding!
Code implementation on loops. In this first code, this code snippet for I in range 5, print I is a simple Python program that uses a for loop to iterate over a range of numbers. Let's break down the code and explain each part. For I in range 5, this is the start of a for loop where I is the loop variable that will take on each value in the specified range. Range generates a sequence of numbers from 0 to 4, not including 5. It's a built-in Python function that creates a range of integers. Print I. This statement inside the for loop will be executed in each iteration. It prints the current value of I to the console. The provided code is a simple Python program that uses a for loop to iterate over a list called mylist and print each element of the list. Let's break down the code and explain each part. Mylist contains 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. This line of code initializes a list named mylist containing 5 integers 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50 for item in mylist. This is the start of a for loop where item is the loop variable that will take on each value from the elements of mylist. This statement is inside the for loop will be executed in each iteration. It prints the current value of item, each element of mylist to the console. In this code, it demonstrates how to loop through a string and print each character one by one. Let's break down the code and explain each part. Word is hello. This line of code assigns the string hello to the variable word. For char in word, this is the start of a for loop where char is the loop variable that will take on each character in the string word. Print char. This statement is inside the for loop will be executed in each iteration. It prints the current character, that is char, to the console. This code iterates through a dictionary, printing each key value pair using a for loop and the items method, which allows access to both keys and values during each iteration. This code demonstrates a nested loop structure. The outer loop iterates 3 times, and for each iteration, the inner loop iterates 3 times as well. It prints the combination of I and j for each iteration of the outer loop, resulting in a 3 by 3 grid of values. This code uses a for loop to iterate through a range starting from 1, ending at 10 exclusive. With the step of 2, it prints each value in the range, resulting in the output 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. Looping through a list with the index. In this code, a loop iterates through a list called mylist using the enumerate function. It retrieves both the index and value of each element in the list, then prints the index and value in a formatted string for each iteration. This provides an output showing the index and corresponding value of each element in the list. Looping through multiple lists. This code uses a for loop and the zip function to iterate through 2 lists, list 1 and list 2 in parallel. During each iteration, it prints corresponding elements from both the lists, creating pairs of elements from each list in the output. Looping with else block. In this code, a for loop iterates over a range of 5 values. After the loop completes without encountering a break statement, the else block executes, printing loop completed successfully. The else block will execute unless the loop is exited early using a break statement. Looping through a list and skipping elements. This code iterates through a list called mylist. During each iteration, it checks if the element is none. If it is, the continue statement is used to skip that iteration. If the element is not none, it prints the element, effectively skipping and not printing the non-elements. Looping with break statement. This code uses a for loop to iterate from 0 to 9. Within the loop, it checks if the current value of I is equal to 5. If this condition is met, the break statement is executed, terminating the loop prematurely. As a result, only values from 0 to 4 are printed before the loop exits. Looping with pass statement and looping with custom step. The first code snippet, the for loop iterates through a range from 0 to 4. The pass statement does nothing within the loop. It serves as a placeholder, allowing the loop to complete without executing any specific code inside the loop body. In the second code, the for loop iterates through a range starting from 10, going down to 1 exclusive with a step of -2. It prints each value in the range, resulting in the output 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Looping over a list reversely. This code uses a for loop and the reversed function to iterate over a list called mylist in reverse order. During each iteration, it prints the elements in reverse, starting from 5 and ending at 1, producing the output 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Looping with enumerate and custom start. In this code, a loop iterates through a list called mylist using the enumerate function with a custom start value of 1. It retrieves both the index and value of each element in the list, starting from index 1. It then prints the index, incremented by 1, and then corresponding value in a formatted string for each iteration. This produces an output showing the incremented index and corresponding value of each element in the list, starting from 1. Looping until a condition is met. In this code, a while loop iterates until the condition count less than 5 is no longer true. The count variable starts at 0 and during each iteration it is printed, and the count is incremented by 1. The loop continues until count reaches 5, at which point the condition is no longer true and the loop exits. It prints the number 0 to 4 each on a new line. Looping through a 2D list. This code uses nested loops to iterate through a 2D list named matrix. The outer loop iterates through each row and the inner loop iterates through each item within the row. It prints each item resulting in the output of elements in the 2D list, one by one. In this code, a for loop iterates through a range of 10 values. During each iteration, it checks if the current value I is even, that is, I%2 is double equal to 0. If it is, the continue statement is executed, skipping the current iteration and moving to the next value. If I is odd, it prints the value resulting in the output of all odd numbers from 1 to 9. Looping over a dictionary's keys. In this code, a for loop iterates through a dictionary by default. When iterating over a dictionary in this manner, it iterates over the keys. During each iteration, it prints a key from the dictionary, resulting in the output of all keys in the dictionary A, B, C. Looping over pairs of elements. This code uses a for loop to iterate through a list of pairs called pairs. During each iteration, it unpacks each pair into the variables num and letters, then prints them in a formatted string. This results in an output that displays the number and corresponding letter for each pair. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more exciting and informative content. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update.